Major exclusive, the family hit by alleged drug-driving Bronco, Ezra Mam, speaks only to 9 News.
Surprise new polling, Labor closing the gap on the LNP days out from the state election.
Controversial Senator Lydia Thorpe's stunning confrontation with King Charles.
South East residents demand action amid fears a pet-killing dog could attack a child.
McDonald Trump, the former president's major campaign stunt, as Kamala Harris receives a special serenade.
And the Queensland scientific breakthrough to help paralysed people walk again.
This is 9 News Queensland with Andrew Lofthouse and Melissa Downs.
Good evening. In a major 9 News exclusive, the family at the centre of a crash involving Bronco star Ezra Mam has broken their silence.
The mother, who was travelling with her daughter when the vehicle they were in collided with Mam's car, says she's been left traumatised, claiming the star, who allegedly returned a positive drug test after the crash, has not reached out to her.
It's the crash that made headlines across the country. Young Broncos star Ezra Mam in his sponsored ute allegedly ploughing into an Uber with a mother and child inside before allegedly testing positive to a roadside drug test.
I can remember looking up and straight away I seen this car veer straight in front of us and I knew what was going to come next. And that's when the vehicle hit us.
We can't show you their faces for legal reasons, but it was this woman and her 4-year-old daughter who sat in the back of that Uber on Friday afternoon. The mother says the ordeal turned a normal afternoon into one of the worst days of her life.
I can't rest because every time I close my eyes, all I see is that vehicle. But not just only that, the impact that it's had on my family, who have supported me and through all of this.
The impact of the collision leaving the woman with seatbelt burns and her daughter in hospital.
She has a fractured hip, and same with the seatbelt. On her stomach, she has really bad burns.
Today, back at the club, crisis talks were held as the Broncos consider the future of Ezra Mam, which tonight hangs firmly in the balance. And with that came a bombshell admission from CEO Dave Donaghy.
Unfortunately, he's lost his way of late, so that could be the traps of this industry. He's a young man. He's a 21-year-old.
Fellow star players rallying around their man.
Yeah, he'd be absolutely rattled. I know that this is definitely not him and not something that he ever thought would be something he'd have to deal with.
As this family continues their road to recovery. Has the Brisbane Broncos reached out to you?
I think we spoke to the CEO and they were very nice.
Has Ezra Mam at any point reached out to you directly?
No, he has not.
Bailey Kenzie, 9 News.
Exclusive new statewide polling shows Labor is closing the gap on the LNP just 5 days out from the election. The Brisbane Times Resolve figures are the best Stephen Miles' government has seen so far this year, as both leaders scramble across the state to win over undecided Queenslanders.
As voters hit the ballot box early in record numbers, the LNP's blasting their own theme music via a portable boombox. Both leaders touring marginal seats across the state that could determine election victory.
Can we form a bit of a beat?
With 5 days to go, an exclusive new poll by Resolve has the LNP's lead shrinking, but still ahead 53 to 47, two-party preferred. It translates to a 6% swing, which in the 93-seat parliament would see Labor lose 13 seats to the LNP, enough to give David Crisafulli a slim 2-seat majority. In the poll of 1,000 Queenslanders, 19% have already voted, with all voters polled also filling out their preferences. The LNP gaining 40% of the primary vote, Labor on 32, the Greens on 11 and One Nation on 9. The result will make Labor smile, with the Premier in North Queensland promising a new dental van worth $5.2 million.
This dental clinic will be able to traverse the remote communities of the Cape.
David Crisafulli also in the North committing $27.5 million for every kindy student to receive free vision, hearing and speech development checks.
A test like this can mean the difference between a child going on to a successful life or going down a life of crime.
The LNP looking to pick up 3 seats in Townsville in a 3-way contest with Labor and the Qantas. Today they launched an attack on the KAP's Mundingborough candidate Michael Pugh over his criminal history, with an ad showing him behind bars. The Qantas party labelling it a dirty tactic, given the offences happened 20 years ago, and Mr Pugh has apologised.
It's unprecedented that the Qantas party would put a candidate up who invaded a home.
The LNP had their own candidate apology today. Bree James fronting up over her social media post of a vandalised banner showing her with a Hitler moustache. Miss James then joking the banner was celebrating her German heritage.
I put up a joke about it. It was really poor taste and I'm really sorry about it, and I really hope everyone will forgive me for it.
While the Premier sounded forgiving yesterday,
I'm not going to pile on too hard there.
Today, he's suggesting she should potentially be disendorsed.
Well, I would certainly have reprimanded a candidate.
Labor, though, is backing its own Gold Coast candidate, Rita Anwari, over a previous fraud charge.
You haven't had any trouble with the police before?
Personally? No.
9 News can reveal in 2018 the candidate for Theodore was fined $2,000 after pleading guilty to 1 count of fraud for signing off on 42 blue card applications when she was an office manager for a training company. A conviction was not recorded, Miss Anwari saying her boss told her to sign documents she shouldn't have.
My boss used me, my honestly, because I wasn't doing things what he wanted from me. So, yeah, I pled guilty because at that time I didn't have that much power as a woman to stand up for myself and fight.
The magistrate accepting Rita Anwari's genuine mistaken belief she could sign the documents, but noted the blue card system is a very serious system, so I have to have regard to the seriousness of the offending in light of that framework.
I wasn't kind of know how to handle it. I was very honest.
Tim Arvia, 9 News.
Well, straight to Abby Gearan now, who's in Hervey Bay following the LNP campaign tonight. Abby, the Premier's accused the party of handing in Labor's homework.
He's referring to those free kindy health checks, Andrew. David Crisafulli's $27.5 million commitment is that every kindy student would receive a free sight, hearing and speech test, which would take place while they are at kindy, and any child in need of further support would then be followed up in years 1, 3 and 5. Stephen Miles says that under his government's $500 million Putting Queensland Kids First plan, many children are already eligible for free health checks. In fact, they can have up to 8 between birth and starting prep.
$27 million won't get you a lot of healthcare, but our Putting Queensland Kids First plan is a $500 million investment. From the LNP, this is just another cheap knockoff version of our plan.
This was the opposition leader's major announcement today as he embarked on a regional blitz, visiting Townsville, Rockhampton, Bundaberg and then arriving here in Hervey Bay this evening. It is certainly getting to crunch time in this campaign, Melissa.
Yes, it is, Abby. Thank you. Let's go to Townsville now, where Josh Bavis is live for us tonight. Josh, the city's mayor has only a few hours left to respond to stay in the job.
Yes, Melissa, Troy Thompson has until midnight to respond to the local government minister on why he should not be suspended pending a CCC investigation. It was 3 weeks ago that Mr Thompson was issued with this show cause notice. This all stems back to the mounting pressure on him to resign over what he said were his military records in the lead up to him being elected. Now, Mr Thompson says to us that he will be submitting that paperwork this evening, about 60 pages of it. He issued a statement a short time ago saying, "Should I be suspended by the minister, I will respect her decision at this time, but I will challenge this and look to a High Court injunction if required." So respectfully challenging the minister. Once the state government receives the documentation, it will then have to consult with its Crown lawyers and also consult with the opposition, given that we're in caretaker mode now. So, Andrew, it could be several more days before we have a decision whether Mr Thompson will be suspended or if he'll get to stay.
Thanks, Josh. And state political editor Tim Arvia joins us in the studio now. Tim, the big news tonight is this Brisbane Times Resolve poll. What does it mean for both sides?
Well, Andrew, make no mistake, the LNP is still ahead, but tonight it's Labor who will be the happiest. That's because this is the first poll we've seen this year which even has them in the race. And it comes at the right time, in the lead up to election day. But there are still barriers to a miracle win. The 6% swing will not be uniform, and pollsters say the LNP is doing better in marginal seats and regional areas, which is their most likely path to victory. There is more exclusive polling, though, right now on the Brisbane Times website, Andrew, Melissa, including Stephen Miles dramatically closing the gap towards David Crisafulli as preferred Premier.
Thanks, Tim. King Charles and Queen Camilla were welcomed to Canberra today, but their visit to the nation's capital wasn't completely welcoming. Inside Parliament's Great Hall, Indigenous Senator Lydia Thorpe launched a tirade about genocide and land rights at their Majesties before she was forcibly removed.
A message for King on country.
Give us our land back. Give us what you stole from us. You destroyed our land. Give us the treaties.
Victoria Senator Lydia Thorpe in a traditional cloak with a very non-traditional welcome.
You are a genocide. This is not your land. This is not your land. You are not my king.
For 45 seconds, she berated the King and Crown, accusing the monarchy of genocide, all while being ushered out of Parliament's Great Hall.
The colony. The colony.
Senator Thorpe had turned her back on the anthem and started the day with a run-in with police, leaving her without a shirt. A far from silent minority outside the War Memorial, the first stop for the King and Queen. Inside, they were greeted by a lone bugler and a wall lined with the lost and with poppies. The King and Queen adding two more. The Sovereign solemn, this well-known visitor bowing before our unknown soldier. Back outside, reward for those that had waited so long.
Oh, it was amazing. It was
absolutely incredible.
It
we
was
didn't
incredible.
Expect I didn't get to shake the King's hand, but I got to shake Queen Camilla's hand. It was so good.
It's a wonderful experience just to see the crowd and so many happy people.
From the people to the pageantry. 21-gun salute, dozens of military members, hundreds waiting inside. Miners, medalists, monarchists and MPs.
People have had haircuts, people have shined shoes, suits have been pressed, and that's just the Republicans.
Like the Prime Minister.
And on behalf of all Australians, we wish you an absolutely splendid stay.
Throughout my life, Australia's First Nations peoples have done me the great honour of sharing so generously their stories and cultures.
Including today. Senator Thorpe removed and a chuckle from Prime Minister and King.
Next month marks 25 years since Australia had the chance to walk away from the monarchy, but we didn't. Now a next vote seems generations away as the anthem proclaims this king longed to reign over us.
It means Australian kids won't get the chance to be head of state.
I love your glasses.
But they can at least look the part.
If he comes and says hello, what do you think you'll say to him?
Where's your crown?
Where's your crown?
Yeah.
He's left it at home, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think you could maybe borrow yours?
Maybe.
Charles Croucher, 9 News.
The King also received a spray of the humorous kind today as he met with crowds outside the Australian War Memorial. Among them, Hefner, the sneezing alpaca.
A convoy fit for a king and queen. Camilla in the front seat, 13 vehicles in all. The royal motorcade speeding into Yarralumba. And there the King telling opposition leader Peter Dutton the Governor-General's residence reminded him of his late grandmother's home in England. The King then recounting his earlier face-to-face at the War Memorial with Hefner the alpaca, who came dressed for the occasion.
It sneezed on me. I've got the shot. I was in Nepal years ago, an elephant sneezed on me. That's not a good idea.
In another room, the Queen was meeting with senior figures leading Australia's battle with domestic violence, including former Australian of the Year, Rosie Batty.
All Australian governments have now signed up to a national plan with a very ambitious target to end violence against women.
Outside, the royals reunited, the Queen planting a tree to mark their visit, the King parting with advice for some school kids.
And good luck with all your dreaded exams and things. You can always blame us if you fail.
At the CSIRO's Bushfire Research Lab, the King was shown a pyrotron, a wind tunnel that simulates a bushfire, helping researchers understand the impact on our bushland. This is an opportunity for the King to show his long interest in conservation and the climate while raising awareness for a cause close to his heart. Outside, an ACT fire crew climbed into their truck to demonstrate the burnover protection system, the King nearly disappearing in the shower that covered the truck.
Your Majesty, what did you think of that?
It's very encouraging, isn't it, to see what can be done.
The Queen had diverted to the Botanic Gardens to meet organisers of the charity Give It, of which she is a patron, an organisation that supports those impacted by disasters.
Well, I congratulate you all on everything you do. You're doing a brilliant job.
In Canberra, Kate Creedon, 9 News.
The murder trial for the second teenager charged over the Boxing Day death of North Lake's mum Emma Lovel has begun. It's the first time some details of the violent home invasion have been revealed after the first teen pleaded guilty, avoiding a trial playing out.
Forced to relive the night his wife died, Lee Lovel called as a witness, emotional as he recounted the moment he realised Emma Lovel had been stabbed. Neighbours who came to help are testifying too, as both families of the victim and accused watched on. A 19-year-old boy today pleading not guilty at the start of his trial to 4 charges. He's accused of breaking into the Lovel family home in North Lakes on Boxing Day 2022 with another juvenile. Brisbane Supreme Court today hearing new details, including that the knife wielded by the other teen was taken from a residential home for youths nearby. Emma Lovel was fatally stabbed and Lee Lovel was stabbed and kicked after confronting the teens. The court hearing that the accused did not commit any violence is charged with murder and unlawful wounding and assault as an accomplice. The court was shown what prosecutors say is crucial footage. As the 2 teenagers are seen to enter the Lovel home, the boy with the knife shows it to the accused in the light of a mobile phone. The CCTV also captures Emma Lovel's final moments. The defence plans to argue he did not know about the weapon. The teen who killed Emma and injured Lee Lovel avoided a trial. He was sentenced to 14 years jail after pleading guilty. This trial is judge only after concerns were raised that the spotlight on youth crime during Queensland's election campaign could prejudice a jury. Anna Rawlings, 9 News.
Donald Trump, the former president, serves fries with that in a major campaign stunt.
A Brisbane teacher arrested for the second time this year over child sex offences.
Hundreds saved as flooding fills streets and homes in Italy.
And at the end of sport, how to stop scammers from stealing your secret data.
A retired Brisbane teacher has been arrested for the second time this year, charged with additional historical child sex offences, following new victim survivors coming forward. Police alleging Stephen Patrick Andrew Kaiser committed a further 32 offences against 19 children aged between 9 and 13. These crimes allegedly committed at 2 educational facilities in southeast Queensland between 1987 and 1992. The 69-year-old has been bailed with strict conditions, the matter returning to court next month.
Donald Trump has pulled off a major campaign stunt, donning a McDonald's apron in a crucial state. He made fries and served supporters as Kamala Harris was serenaded with a special performance for her birthday.
Drive-through Donald.
I like this chef. I think I might come back and do it again.
A highly orchestrated campaign stunt at McDonald's, complete with his own supporters.
And you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it good.
The Republican candidate dining out on the attention and loving it.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet, that's right.
As he tries to win over support in Pennsylvania, the state that could decide the election race.
I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some. I'm very superstitious.
Making this stop after repeatedly attacking Kamala Harris's past work at the fast food chain.
Look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope.
Delivering her message of hope in church, the Vice President on her 60th birthday.
It is not enough to preach the values of compassion and respect. We must live them.
Given a gift of song by Stevie Wonder. And from her opponent.
I want to wish her a happy 60th birthday, right?
As Kamala Harris sent a warning far beyond the largely black American congregations in Georgia.
Our country is at a crossroads, and where we go from here is up to us.
With this election so tight, church leaders are calling on black American men to give her a surge in support.
Whenever you need something, the Bible says there arose a mother. But I'd say there arose a woman of God.
In 15 days, Americans will decide if she rises to the highest office in the land. In the United States, Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
A boy has been killed in floods sweeping parts of Italy, with Bologna and surrounding areas in the country's north hit with torrential rain. Firefighters have carried out more than 300 rescue operations and dozens of people have been evacuated.
Paralysis breakthrough. Tonight, Queensland scientists on the brink of a world-first cure. The new trial helping people walk again. Don't miss that special report coming up. A win for workers. Payday for sacked Qantas staff after landing a huge compensation victory.
Blasts felt across Beirut as hundreds of residents flee their homes.
Fears this pet killer dog will attack a child. Why won't council act?
Plus, all aboard Brisbane's new Metro hitting our roads.
9 News, brought to you by Hyundai. Have you tried it? Now you can.
Three former Qantas staff have had a big win in court. A federal judge ruling the airline acted illegally when it sacked them during the COVID-19 pandemic. Qantas ordered to pay the three workers a total of $170,000 in compensation. That decision could now mean the airline also has to pay 1,700 other dismissed staff.
This was a decision about 3 test cases. It now has to be applied to every other illegally sacked worker to determine the global figure that Qantas has to pay.
This is probably worth in excess of $100 million, this global compensation figure.
In a statement today, Qantas says it apologises to former ground handling employees.
Huge fireballs lit up the sky across parts of Beirut overnight after Israeli forces unleashed a nighttime bombardment on the city's southern suburbs. It came shortly after the IDF issued a warning for residents to evacuate, claiming to be targeting Hezbollah's financial institutions.
We'll be targeting a large number of sites in the coming hours, an IDF spokesman says.
Israel is promising to reveal how Hezbollah uses civil institutions as a cover. The operation followed the convening of Israel's Security Council by Benjamin Netanyahu.
Years in the making, the Brisbane Metro has finally hit city streets, carrying paying passengers for the first time today. Council says it's the dawn of new age transport in the southeast, but it's waiting on state government approvals to make it happen.
On day one, Brisbane's newest form of public transport already changing the game. It was running early.
There's onboard Wi-Fi, there's USB charging, there's onboard stop announcements, there's passenger information displays, and here it comes right now.
The first Brisbane Metro pulling out of the station at 6 a.m, packed to the brim.
Oh, we're just so excited. Literally, you cannot wipe the smile off the Lord Mayor's face.
Running on Route 169, the service will ferry passengers from 8 Mile Plains to UQ Lakes at St Lucia, with the first riders all raving about one thing.
Smooth. Very much quieter, yes.
But the sound's not the only bonus. Council hoping to create a turn-up-and-go system, with the Metro arriving every 3 minutes.
A city where the timetable can be thrown away and Brisbane Metro can get people to where they want to go sooner and safer.
There's no major difference between getting on the Metro and a regular bus. You can still tap on like normal. But these vehicles are much bigger and can carry 170 passengers. They're expected to add 30 million new seats to the bus network.
And councillors keen to see more Metros on the road soon.
When the state government comes out of caretaker mode after Saturday's election, one of the first meetings we'll be seeking is with the new Transport Minister to discuss the rollout of Metro services.
Once approved, the permanent routes will take passengers from Hurston to St Lucia via the CBD and from the city through to 8 Mile Plains. Further expansion set to see another 22 stations eventually added to the network, east to Capalaba, south to Springwood, north to Castledine and out to the Brisbane airport.
We've got no time to waste.
Pat Heaney, 9 News.
Terrorising a neighbourhood. Fears this dangerous dog will attack a child. Why won't council act?
Southeast scientific breakthrough helping paralysed people walk.
Plus, breaking news, under fire Bronco Ezra Mam breaks his silence next. To today's finance now, here's Chris Kohler.
In times of uncertainty, people tend to invest in gold, and they must be really uncertain because the price of gold is at record highs, up 32% so far this year. The price has jumped above $2,700 an ounce for the first time as the war in the Middle East intensifies and the US presidential election gets closer. Bitcoin enthusiasts are also piling in. The cryptocurrency is trading at its highest level since June. And if you think all of that would mean investors would back off the share markets, you'd be wrong. It's also within reach of record highs. So money is flying in almost all directions on the markets. And of course, no surprise to see gold miners shooting higher today. Finally, the Australian dollar was mixed, buying 67 US cents today, just under 62 euro cents and 51 British pence.
Checking the fuel prices now. The average for unleaded in Brisbane $1.75, diesel $1.81, and the average on the Gold Coast for unleaded $1.73.
Brisbane City Council has been forced to take action on a dangerous dog that's been terrorising a southeast neighbourhood, killing family pets and mauling other animals.
Residents fear the dog's aggression is escalating and it's only a matter of time before it attacks a human.
You can't read his tag, but the distinctive red and yellow collar says everything. This dog is dangerous.
So we're just living in fear constantly.
The Staffordshire Bull Terrier is responsible for killing 2 beloved family pets and attacking other animals in Sherwood. Jessie's cat Ari was mauled to death in her driveway in April in front of her young son.
And the dog just grabbed him by the throat and started tearing him to shreds.
Just months earlier, this same dog killed Amanda Tuppick's cat Penelope.
I had to hold on to the dog, call council, but eventually the owners showed up and collected the dog.
The owner denies her dog was responsible. Brisbane City Council declared the dog dangerous in May. It means he must wear a council-issued collar and cannot leave his home without wearing a muzzle. He must be kept in an approved enclosure, unable to escape. But residents claim the staffy keeps escaping and is out in public without its muzzle.
Isn't he supposed to have a muzzle on? But the dog is a dog that continues to terrorise, attack and escape.
He got out again last week. Sarah Kenny looked up to see her cat Loki locked in the staffy's jaws.
Well, it's not good enough. He's lucky to be alive.
His owner captured on CCTV searching for him in locals' backyards.
Juliet!
She's already been fined by council 5 times for letting her dog wander.
Can I ask why you're not securing your dog properly? Is there anything you'd like to say to the people that have lost their animals because of your dog?
You're on my property line. I'm going to ask you to leave.
If it keeps going for small animals, what is it going to take before it goes for a child?
Council has now seized the dog and, following our investigation, today issued an order for the dog to be euthanased for community safety.
The owner of this dog has not taken the adequate measures to secure their dog.
The pet owner can still appeal the decision, but council says it's unlikely the dog will be released back home again. Emily Prain, 9 News.
To breaking news now on under-fire Bronco Ezra Mam, who allegedly tested positive to a roadside drug test following a head-on crash on Friday. His management has just released a statement saying Ezra is extremely remorseful, that he's concerned first and foremost for the other parties involved, and following these recent events has taken a proactive step by seeking immediate professional treatment. Well, the Broncos legend endorsing a Maroon to become the next Kangaroos captain. Elvis Smiley, all right, the Queensland golfer, tells us his next goal after his maiden win on the Australasian Tour.
At the end of sport, how to stop scammers from trading your personal information for profit.
And a mostly warm and sunny day across Brisbane. A little bit of cloud on the north side today, and that'll be the weather pattern for most of this week. We're expecting some hot days towards the end of the week. All the details in your full forecast tonight from Mount Gravatt.
Good evening. NRL great Sam Thaiday has offered a glowing endorsement of Patrick Carrigan as the future leader of the Broncos, Maroons and Kangaroos. Australia is preparing for its grudge match against New Zealand on Sunday, and Thaiday expects the Brisbane forward to bring much-needed muscle to the heavyweight clash.
Sam Thaiday is well versed in the intense rivalry between Australia and New Zealand, highlighted by his memorable showdown with Marty Tapa'u in 2015.
It probably fired him up, but it fired me up as well. I knew that I was in a test match at that point in time, and if you're going to get under someone's skin or if you're going to get in someone's face, you've got to make sure that you continue to show up. So, that's what I loved about playing against some of those New Zealand forwards.
One of the Kangaroos' most capped forwards with 34 test appearances, Thaiday believes Pat Carrigan can cause havoc against the Kiwis in round 2 of the Pacific Championships.
In test match footy, you don't get a lot of opportunities, and sometimes you've got to create them, and sometimes they come off quick play the ball, sometimes they come off offloads. And to see Patrick Carrigan, the toughness he plays with week in and week out is incredible.
Held in such high regard, he believes the Broncos forward is destined to captain Australia.
I could definitely see him captaining the club consistently going forward. I could see him captaining Queensland going forward, and I could definitely see him captaining Australia at some point in time as well. He's just a player that leads by example.
Sunday's showdown in Christchurch also offers redemption for the Kangaroos following a 30-0 loss to the Kiwis in their most recent meeting.
Australia are going to have to take it up another level. Tonga were absolutely brilliant in the first test match, but New Zealand is going to be a different beast, and this is where you need to be on, because you can't give New Zealand any chance at opportunity.
Adam Jackson, 9 News.
The Kangaroos are adamant they bear no scars from the shock upset against New Zealand in last year's Pacific Championship decider.
It wasn't nice to be a part of, every time you put on those colours, you want to do that jersey proud, and for me, myself, didn't do the jersey proud last year, so we get an opportunity sort of to rectify that this weekend.
Queensland enforcer Lindsay Collins showing no signs of soreness training at Ballymore following this bruising hit from Homole Olakau'atu in the Aussies' win over Tonga. For the first time in 38 years, a Queensland bowler has taken 5 wickets in his Sheffield Shield debut. Rising quick Tom Whitney completed the feat, tearing through the South Australian tail as the Bulls ended the Redbacks' first innings on 314. Queensland fell just 6 runs short of that, despite being 6 for 117. Jimmy Pearson top scoring with 94 before playing a part behind the stumps in Henry Hunt's departure on the first ball of the Redbacks' second innings. It hasn't been a great day for our Test hopefuls. Matthew Renshaw went for 2, Usman Khawaja a duck. While in the Shield match in Melbourne, New South Welshman Sam Constas and Steve Smith failed too. Plenty have been sceptical about Nick Kyrgios's plans to play in the Australian Open, but Leighton Hewitt believes the Aussie still has what it takes to compete at Grand Slam level.
It's not easy. Nick has a lot of firepower and weapons though, and if he's serving well, he's going to cause anyone havoc out there. If you can keep holding serve and get to a tie break, you're in with a chance.
Hewitt is also confident Alex de Minaur will be fit for the United Cup in December, where Team Australia will face Great Britain in the pool stage in Sydney. Gold Coast 500 drivers had beachgoers doing double takes in a frenetic race along the sand and sky at Main Beach. A Chevrolet Camaro, Nissan drift car and Polaris buggy taking on a Boost mobile plane and helicopter to launch this weekend's event.
I've just been told don't stuff up and don't end up in the ocean.
Jeff Horn also joining the supercars action, the former boxing world champion partnering with driver James Golding to promote Horn's charity, Bully Proof Australia. Gold Coast golfer Elvis Smiley says he'll take a lot of confidence out of his maiden win on the Australasian Tour as he plans an attack on the big tournaments of the summer. Atrocious conditions late in the final round of the WA Open at Mandurah, south of Perth. Ground staff even mopping greens before the Queenslander tapped in the winning putt on the first playoff hole. Tonight, Smiley leads the Order of Merit with the season's top 3 earning a card on the DP World Tour. The 22-year-old told 9 News today, and we quote, "It's definitely given me the confidence and belief moving forward I can win more." Next up on the tour down in South Australia, then it's the Queensland PGA at Nudgee. I have to admit, I'm part of the Elvis Smiley fan club. He's a great golfer and just a great guy as well.
Lovely.
He's happier now too, isn't he?
As he would.
Amazing. Thanks, Ty. Well, when a data scientist started getting a lot of unwelcome phone calls, she decided to find out why and how. Her investigation took her deep into the little-known world of data brokers, where personal data is legally sold for profit, and our current privacy laws do little to stop it.
Priya Dev has always gone to great lengths to protect her personal information from landing in the wrong hands.
They're dark companies that go unnoticed.
But not even a data science academic could hide from the hidden network of data broking. Despite being on the National Do Not Call register, Priya started receiving dozens of unwanted calls from telemarketers and scammers and dug deeper.
Tell us about this web. This is only a small view of the bigger web that exists.
Uncovering a sophisticated network of data broker companies buying and selling her information over 10 years without her knowledge. Some of the companies have legitimate clients, including banks, energy and car companies, and even the Australian Labor Party.
It begs the question, do Australians really have any control over their personal information? Trading data for cash is a legal practice, but the problem is when it ends up in the wrong hands.
Once you hand it over to someone, you don't know what they do with it. They might sell it.
The federal government is working on upgrading our lagging 1988 privacy laws. In the first stage, proposing civil penalties for serious invasions of privacy. Those changes are currently before Parliament. Now working on a second stage, which will consider introducing clear mandatory consent so Australians can opt in or out of having their information shared. Claudia Radoljak, 9 News.
In just 3 minutes, Queensland scientists on the brink of a paralysis breakthrough, the world-first trial helping people walk again. Don't miss that special report right after the break. First, though, Garry's back with a quick check on the weather. Gaz, we are enjoying some lovely spring weather.
Oh, we certainly are, Melissa. Some very comfortable temperatures, both those overnight minimums and the daytime highs pretty close to average, and more of the same for the week ahead. Right now, a very nice 22 degrees in the River City.
Queensland scientists could be on the verge of curing paralysis as plans are announced for a world-first human clinical trials. It's hoped a treatment using nerve cells taken from the nose could be a game-changer for repairing debilitating spinal cord injuries.
This time 2 years ago, Joe Ponyu was a rugby league prodigy, signed to the Gold Coast Titans at 16 and on the verge of a promising career until a catastrophic on-field injury changed everything.
I was playing a trial match against the Brisbane Broncos and I collided with a goalpost trying to make a tackle.
Joe left a C3 quadriplegic, one of 20,000 Australians living with spinal cord injury, given hope today by the announcement of world-first human clinical trials getting underway in Queensland's southeast in the new year. Griffith University scientists aiming to repair damage to the spinal cord and regain function and feeling.
We're aiming low, hoping for high. If a person can move a finger again, that means they can pick up a fork and feed themselves.
Their treatment using highly regenerative sense of smell cells harvested from the patient's own nose.
It's the only part of the nervous system that regenerates every day as part of its normal function.
and prepared into what's called a nerve bridge.
The specialised nerve bridge takes just 24 hours to form into what you see here. It's then transplanted into the injury site within the spinal cord in a delicate operation.
Repairing the spinal cord is now a real possibility. The movement of one arm or one leg or like a little bit of sensation, all those things are huge.
Regained function won't come overnight though, requiring intensive long-term rehabilitation on top of the transplant.
But it might take a year or 2 years before they get improvements.
30 volunteers will be needed for the trial. Those interested can contact Griffith University before expressions of interest go live. Claire Todd-Hunter, 9 News.
Well, Garry Youngberry is back with your full weather forecast now. Gaz, how's the rest of the week looking?
Oh, looking good, Andrew. We'll shape up nicely over the next few days. In fact, the next couple will be just like today, slightly above average temperatures, nothing more than partly cloudy skies. Thursday will be the hottest day of the week, and we're talking mid-30s for the inner or our western suburbs. Next best chance of a shower towards the end of the week, but that'll be mainly coastal. Not a lot in it. We'll get to that in detail with your 7-day outlook. First up, let's have a look what we recorded across southeast Queensland on this very nice spring day. Daytime temperatures range from the coolest place today, the Gold Coast, due to that southeasterly breeze, still 24 degrees. The strongest wind gusts at around Cape Morton at 54 kilometres per hour. Highest temperature today, that was Gatton, 31 degrees, Ipswich and Oakey 30, Archerfield and Warwick 29 degrees, Brisbane and here in Mount Gravatt 28. The weather map, a low pressure system in the Tasman Sea will drive gusty southerly winds and showers over the New South Wales coast and parts of eastern Queensland. Cold fronts passing the south of the country will spread showers across a few of those southern capitals. Interstate, some cloud about in Perth and Adelaide, sunny in Melbourne and 30, a shower or two Hobart, possible shower Darwin, sunny in Alice Springs and 38 degrees. Queensland tomorrow, partly cloudy, low 30s for Cairns, Townsville and Mackay, a possible shower in Rocky, shower or two for Gladstone, couple of showers Bundaberg, Maryborough, Gympie, sunny and very hot in the outback. We're looking at low 40s in the north and central west. Southeast Queensland for Tuesday, partly cloudy, just a slight chance of a shower on the north side, light to moderate easterly winds. Temperatures tomorrow, mid-20s on the coast and around 30 degrees inland. Moreton Bay, south-southwest 10 to 15 knots and they'll be east-northeast by the afternoon. Brizzy, partly cloudy, light to moderate easterlies, a top 28 degrees once again. And with your 7-day outlook, Wednesday 29 degrees, Thursday 32, Friday mostly sunny and 29, partly cloudy Saturday, cloudy Sunday with a shower or two. Ipswich, cloudy and warm. For the week ahead, daytime temperatures mostly in the low 30s. Thursday, the hottest day of the week, reaching 35 degrees. For the Goldie, partly cloudy skies for the rest of the week. A possible shower. Slight chance Friday, Saturday. Not too much on the Gold Coast for the weekend's racing. Expect a couple of showers, though, on the Sunday. Sunshine Coast, slight chance of a shower most days this week. Only very slight. Sunday, definitely a couple of showers. But Thursday will be the warmest day of the week. Still reaching 31 degrees on the coast. So pretty good for the week ahead, guys.
Looks good. Thanks, Garry. Before we go, here's a look at a story you won't want to miss tomorrow night.
Get the cheapest price on anything instantly.
It's an incredible tool for consumers to save money.
The new free way to slash your grocery bills by hundreds, plus massive discounts on white goods, electronics, clothing and more.
Save a lot of money.
9 News tomorrow.
And that is 9 News Queensland for this evening. Ali Langdon is next with a current affair.
Thank you for your company. Enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll see you again tomorrow night at 6. From all of us for now, good night.
Good night.